Welcome back, guys, and this is another video which is a second part of the series that we are going to have considering Filament PHP. And if you are new and even if you missed the previous video, please consider to check it, and I will share the link in my video description. But also consider to subscribe if you've not yet, but also like my videos, share with your friends. So let's get started with this second video. And in this second video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know about the panel builder. So this one, but let's recap from what we learned in our previous video. In our previous video, we've seen how we are going to install Filament in your Laravel application, and we've seen how to install it, how to do some configurations, and we also checked how you can be able to publish the configuration files. So from there, what I want to do, we need to go to the next part, which is getting started page. And if you visit this one, remember when you click this one in your documentation, down here you will see different kind of resources that are concerning with this with the section that you selected here. So that's how easy you can get to each of these resources. But if you find anything that you need to search for it, you can be able to search from this global search area right here. Okay, so but remember, make sure we are using version 3 of Filament PHP, because that is what I'm trying to be specific to. Okay, so by saying so, in this video I'm going to be very detailed, so I'll explain everything from scratch, because I believe everyone needs to understand these basic things, so that when we will be going to other sections, you can have the all the foundation. Okay, so when we are talking about panel, because this is the first thing that we've seen from the Filament documentation, panels are the top level container in Filament. So whenever you are creating a Filament application, the panels act as the container that carries all other things, or other resources that you may create, all the other features that you may have in your Filament application will be living inside the panels. So by saying so, meaning that you can have a single Laravel application that have Filament, and you can have multiple panels. So we will cover that thing in future videos. So for now, what I want you to understand is that panels are the top level container that will contain all other features. So for example, it allows you to build a feature-rich admin panel that may include pages, resources, forms, tables, notifications, actions, info list, and widgets. So all of these features that have been mentioned here will be living inside the container, and that container is called the panels. So I believe by saying so, you guys can be able to understand when we are talking about the panels. So for the previous video, I remember we created this simple dashboard, which is in our admin. And you can see, so this is our panel, which is admin panel, and inside it we are going to start creating different pages, different widgets, and everything. And then we can be able to see, we can create another panel, and then we can see the difference between those two panels. Okay, so by saying so, this is for just introduction. But before you start to do anything with the Filament, I think we need to know the prerequisites that you may need to know before going forward. So before using Filament, it is recommended that you should be familiar with Laravel. And as you know, Filament builds upon many core Laravel concepts, especially the database migrations and Eloquent ORM. So these are the basics concept of Laravel. So if you are not comfortable with those two features, I recommend you guys to go back to Laravel documentation so that you can be able to understand how you can interact with the database migrations, how you can interact with the Eloquent ORM, meaning that you can be able to work with models, migration, seeders, and so many features that may help you to understand those core concepts. So by saying so, you can go to Laravel Bootcamp, so this link will be available, so you guys can be able to go and look for everything that you need to understand about these two issues. So I think that will be easy for you to understand Filament if you'll be able to understand those two concepts. So by saying so, let's go direct to this another section, which is the demo project. So in order for me to be very precise and to do the perfect thing, and so that you guys can understand the Filament PHP, I'll be working basing on the documentation of Filament PHP. So I'll not do anything out of that, so that you guys can be in the same phase with what Filament is meant for. So by saying so, this is the demo project that we are going to create, and this project is called the Patient Management System for Veterinary Practice. So we'll be using Filament to create it, and it will support adding new patients like cats, dogs, and rabbits, and then you can be able to assign them to an owner. So as you can know, these are just pets, so you need to have the owner, and then you can be able to record the treatments they received, and the system will have a dashboard with the statistics about the types of patients and chart showing the number of treatment administered over the past year. So this is just the basic concept of a demo project that you can create by using Filament PHP. As I mentioned in my previous video, we are going to create a two real-world project. So this one we'll just use it for learning, but later on we will create two real-world use cases project that we can do ourselves from scratch. So keep that in mind. So for now, in order for us to be on the same phase with the foundations of Filament PHP, I'll be working with this demo project so that we can be able to understand what is panels and how we can work with them. So from now, I want to run this database and models, because we need to create the model and their migrations. So this command, what it does, it creates the model, which is called the owner, and then we have this flag, which is M, which stands for migrations. So I'm going to run these commands in my terminal, and then it will create those three tables with their models and the migrations. So let me copy it, and then let me go to my VS Code right here, and then I'm going to open my terminal. So let me go to terminal, new terminal, and then let me kill this one because I don't use it anymore. And then from here, I'm going to paste the commands. So as you can see, PHP has to make model, owner, patient, and treatment. Okay, so I'm going to click enter, and it will create those three tables for us. So as you can see, this is done. Let me clear my terminal. Okay, so now if I visit my application, there is new file that have been created in our app models. You can see we have owner, which is this one. We have patient and treatment. Also in our database, we have new migration files, which is this one for owners. We have this one for patients, and we have this one for treatments. So what we are going to do next is to add the fields for our tables. All right, so here already Filament documentation have those fields, so that we just going to copy these fields and add them in our migration file. So I'll just paste it there, and then for patients, we are going to copy. So I'm copying only the required fields because the ID and timestamp are already there, so I will not copy them. So here I'll paste the date of birth of the patient, but here you can see we have only email, the name of the owner and the phone number. But in the patient we have the date of birth, so the date where the pet was delivered. Okay, we have the name of the pet or the patient. We have the owner ID, which is constrained to owner's table. So this is just a foreign key from owner's table. Okay, and then we have the type of our patient. So we'll be populating this with the type of the patient that we have. And also we have the treatment table. So let's go back here and copy these fields, and then I will paste them there. Okay, and then this is what we have. We have the description of the treatment, we have the notes, we have patient ID, which is constrained to patient table, and then we have the price. So this is an assigned integer, so this will be the price of the treatment that the patient will receive. Okay, so then I'll close these models, and then the next part that I'm going to cover, I'm going to remove I'm going to unguard my models. If you have the concept of Laravel, whenever you create a model, you need to add the fillable, the protected fillable variable right here. So you need to add the fillable, the list of fields that you have in your table. So for example, we were supposed here to add those fields, that is the name, email, phone number. So we are supposed to have those 3 fields in our table, in our model class. But in Filament, will automatically save the valid data, so you don't need to do this way. So you can do it, but it's not that much necessary, because Filament will handle these cases of mass assignment. So we do this for mass assignment in Laravel, but in Filament it's not that much necessary, but you can do it for security wise. But for this tutorial, because I just want to simplify things, so I'll just remove this one. So by removing that one, meaning that we need to unguard these models. To unguard means that we need to allow the model class to be accessible without using the mass assignment, so that we can be able to update data, we can be able to add data or delete data without interacting with the mass assignment. So to do so, you need to navigate to the provider. So you need to go to the providers, and then app service provider, which is this one. So and here you need to go to the boot function. So if you visit this class, you will see there's 2 functions, which is register and boot function. So here in boot, I'm going to add the model class. Okay, so and then I'm going to say unguard. Okay, so by doing this way, meaning all our models will be unguarded. So if they will be unguarded, meaning that we will not be required to add the protected fillable variable in each of our models. So this is already explained here in Filament. So you can see Filament only saves valid data to models, so the models can be unguarded safely. So it is safe to use to unguard our models. So this is what I have done. And then the next part is to set up the relationship between models. So as we know, all the models will have their relationships. So for now, the relationship between the owner and the patient, this is one-to-many, because one owner can have many patients. So I'll just copy this one and then paste it to our model. So let's go to the owner and then you have this one. So make sure you import the class. If you don't have that way of importing, just please you can be able to add it manually. So you can just type it like this way and it will be added automatic. So this patient will be the name of our relationship, and then in here is the flag that is showing that this kind of relationship is either one-to-many or many-to-many or one-to-one. So that is how. Okay, so this is for the owner, and then for the patient we have the owner. So this is one-to-one. So one patient can have one owner. I think that is very clear. And also we have the treatment. So one patient can have more than one treatments. So let me just copy these two. Then I'm going just to paste them here. Then make sure you import those two classes. So import, so you can have as many and it belongs to. So after doing so, let's go back to the model, and then we need to also have the patient in the treatment model. So let's copy it, and then let's go to the treatment, then paste it there and make sure you import the class. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so after doing so, let me just close these files. Okay, so now we have those migrations that we need to run to our database. So let me just run PHP @migrate. But before you migrate it, you need to make sure that you use the desired configuration for your database. So for me, I'm just using SQLite because this is just a simple project and I don't want to do some complications. So I'm just going to use SQLite as my database. So by saying so, I'll just run this migrate command. Okay. Okay, so seems like this command already ran. So let me just do run refresh. Okay, so this is done. So after doing so, let's go to the Laravel HUD, and here there's new feature which you can be able to manage your SQLite database. So when you click this one in adminer, so let me click this one, and you can see this is system which is SQLite. You can choose MySQL if you are using MySQL. Okay, and then you can change the database here. So you can see here there is the database name, which you can see this is the path of your database. So if you are using MySQL, for example, you need to give the path of your MySQL database. Okay, so by saying so, I just leave it to SQLite, and then I'm going to click login. Okay, and then you can see I've logged in successful, and this is our database, which is called the database.sqlite, which is found inside in our application directory. So if you go back here, you can see inside the public, no, not inside the public, this is inside the database, and then you can see there's this database. So when you go back here and go to database, you can see we have this file which is called the database.sqlite. Okay, and then here you can see we have this 13 tables, and now we have the owners table that have these columns that we've created. We have the patients, and also we have the treatments. So by saying so, we need to create the resources. So here from the documentation, you can see this section introduces you to resources. So what are the resources? Resources are just the static classes that are used to build the CRUD operations and CRUD interfaces for your Eloquent models. So whenever you are creating a resource in your Filament PHP, it's just you are trying to describe how administrators of your system can interact with the data from your panel using the tables and the forms. Okay, so we are going to see how this works. So let's just first try to create the Filament resources, which is called the patient. So this will create this directory structure. So it will create the patient resource.php file, and then it will create the new resource directory, which is called the patient resource. Inside it, you will see it will have this directory called the pages, and then it will have the create patient.php, edit patient.php, and list patients.php. So all of these three, we are going to see how they operate, and then now it will allow us to visit this new route, and then we can see how this will work. So now let's go and run this command. Let's go to the terminal, let's clear the terminal, and then php @ make filament resource, and then you need to provide the name of your resource. So we are going to call it patient resource. Okay, and then enter. So this will create those files as we have seen in our documentation. So now if I go here, Filament, and now you can see we have the new directory which is called the resources, and inside the resources you can see we have this kind of new directory. So we have the patient resources, and we have this patient resources.php. So here you can see we have the create patient, edit patient, and list patients. So now let's go direct here and see how this file looks like. Okay, so as you've seen, this is a static class that describes how the application will interact with your Eloquent ORM models. Okay, so here you can see as the patient resource is extending the resource class. So you can visit this one and learn more about it. So you can see it has a lot of details, so I'll not go that much deeper. And now you can see the first property that is defined in your class. You can see it is the name of our model. So it is referencing to the model, which is coming automatically by running that command that we've run in our terminal, this one. Okay, so it will add this reference, and also you can see it adds this navigation icon, which is this one. So you can see this one. So it is using hero icon for showing this those navigation icon. Also you can see here we have the public static function, which is form, which have this parameter form, which is form class, and also you can see it is returning the instance of the form. Also we have the function for table, which similarly have different functionality and different options. Also down here you can see we have the get relations. So later on we will see how to use this, because in future videos we are going to see how to create the relationship managers. So we are going to see how to use this one. But here you can see there is this function which defines the routes of every page that you have, considering this patient resource, and this will be automatically added when you create the resources through command. So you can see here we have the index, which is referencing to this one, which will be automatically referred to admin/ patient. So it will be like this way. So this will be the this, and also we are going to have the create, and also we are going to have the edit. Okay, so by saying so, now if I go back to my application, I'm going to see this new page, and we're going to have this new navigation link. So let's go back here and then refresh. Okay, let me just log in again. Okay, I think this will not work because we run the PHP and migrate refresh, so that will clean up all the database. So now we need to create to recreate the user. So let me just run this command again. Filament user, and then the name will be admin, the email will be admin@example. I remember this was the one that we used before, and then we are going to have the password. Okay, so this will create a user. So let's go back and try to sign in. So this is working fine. So now the new thing that you see here is this new route that you see here, which is called the patients. Okay, so let me zoom back so you can see from here, since we have this new route, so that you can be able to navigate from dashboard to this new page, and this new page has been created by just creating this resource, and that page will be added automatically. Okay, so meaning if we again try to create another resource, for example, if we create another resource for let's say for owner. Okay, after successfully created, now if I refresh again, you can see the owners has been added automatically here. Okay, and as you can see, these routes will be sorted automatically by alphabetical order, so you can see that way. And also we can create the resource for treatment. Okay, and then if I go back and refresh, you can see the treatment has been added down here. Okay, so here you have different options in navigation. Later on I will show you how you can sort this, how you can change the icon. Right now you can see all the icons are the same, but for now I want to focus on when we navigate to any of this route. So for example, when I click routes right here on patients, you can see we have this page that has been created, and you can see this is where the data will be listed, and for now we don't have any patient, so that's why it says no patient. Okay, if now I click new, you can see we don't have the form to feed our data, so meaning we need to create those fields. We need to create the form actually, and then so that we can be able to add our patient, we can be able to add the owner, we can be able to add the treatment. Okay, so by saying so, let's start with the patient. So no, let me start with the owner. So let's start with the owner right here. So let's go and navigate to owner resources. So in our owner resource, here you can see we have this model class, we have this icon. Okay, so to change the icon, you can just use hero icons. So let's navigate to hero icons so that you can be able to change that icon. So for example, I can just change it from here. I just want to use this one. So what you need to copy is just the name of that icon. Okay, so let me go back here, and what you need to change here is just this text right here. So this means that that one is not a bold icon, so it will have the like an open space on it. So here it will be the name of your icon. So if now I refresh, you can see this icon has changed, and also you can change for patient and also for treatment. So by saying so, that one is done. Okay, and now here, but there is more features that I'm going to explain on future videos, but for now I just wanted to show you how you can change the icon. So that one will be for patient. Let's find another for that was for owner. Let's find another one for patient. Okay, so I'm just going to use this one, but you can use anything that you want. So let me go to patient resource. Okay, and then I'm going to change this one. Okay, and also for the treatment, I'm going just to use this one. Okay, and then let me go to treatment. Treatment resource. Okay, and then I'm going to change the icon right here. Okay, so now if you refresh again, you can see the icons has been changed automatically. Okay, so now we want to make sure that when we click the new, we can be able to add the fields for the form. So here you can see we have this function which is called the form, as I explained before. So here we can be able to add the form fields. So by adding the form fields, if you go back to the documentation, you can see this is how simply you can just add the form field. So you just need to add this text input, which is coming from forms, which forms are coming from the components, and this are all from Filament. So we need to add this one. So let me just copy it and then add it here. Okay, and then by adding that one, when we go back to the form of create, okay, okay, let's see. So this is treatment. Oh, I've made some mistake. So this should be owner. Okay, owner resource. And then after adding that one, if I refresh again, you can see now we have this name field, which is very perfect. Okay, so remember we need to have 3 fields. So we need to have another one for, so let's remind us the owner have the name, email, and phone. Okay, so we need to have another one for email and another one for phone. Okay, and now if I refresh again, you can see we can be able to add these fields, but these fields have no any validation. And let's say this is an email, but you can type numbers here, you can type anything, and there is no any validation. So to add the validations, every filament field comes with the, let's say you can have validations. So for example, for the name, I can make it to be string. Okay, and I can say this should be required. Okay, so by saying this should be string and required, meaning if I refresh again, you can see this has been marked as required, and when I click create, it will automatically show me this message, meaning that we need to fill this field. And for the email, we need to tell that this field should be email. Okay, and also should be required. Okay, and for the phone, we can just say this should be telephone, and it also should be required. Okay, so by saying so, if I refresh again, you can see all fields are required, and this one is an email field. So right now, if I try to type those numbers and click this one, so for example, if I add anything, you can see this will say we need to have the email format. Okay, so now we are going to create our first data. So what I'm going to do, in order to use the dummy data, I'm going to log in my another browser right here. So I'm going to copy this link. So let's put that one. Open it here. So it will ask us for the login. So I'll say admin at example.com and then password. Okay, and then a login. Okay, so now you can see we have the form, which is this one. So now I'm going just to add the mock data. Okay, so this will be our first owner that we created. So let's click create. Okay, so this format is not valid. So let me just remove this one to try to create, and that one will work for us. So that one is done. Okay, so from now, if I go back here or if I click here, it will go back to the list. So you can see now we have just the list, which is empty, but we have this edit button, and when we click this one, it will direct to the edit form. So how you are going to show the data in your table? So to show your data on your table, you will need to go back to the resource, and then in here you can see we have the table, but it doesn't have any column. So to add the column, you need to check from here. You can see from here you can go to the table. So let me just navigate to the table. So this is the table. Okay, so from the table, what we need to do is how we are going to add this table, columns. So you need to add the tables columns, then you need to specify the type of your column. So let's start by adding it here, the table, and then we are going to have the columns, and then we are going to have the name. So here we'll say, which will be text column, and then we'll say meg, and then in here we're going to have the name. Okay, then we're going to have the email and the form. Okay, and now if we navigate back here and we refresh the page, now you can see we have these fields that are automatically created. Okay, so that's how simple you can be able to add these fields in your page. Okay, so now we can be able to edit this data. For example, if I want to change those data, for example, I can change from here, and then I can just remove this one because that one is not accepted. So we can just remove those brackets, and then we can save. Then after saving, so this data will be saved automatically. Now you can be able to see the data has changed. Okay, also we can be able to add as many data as we want. So the brackets. Okay, so bracket, create, and automatically you can see the data has been created. Okay, so if I navigate back, you can see we have two patients right here. Okay, so this is about patients, how you're going to add the patients. And some of you will ask yourself, like, okay, how can we delete those data? For example, you want to delete any of this data. Okay, so to be able to delete those data, you need to add the action. So here in table, you can see we have this option for actions. We have filters, actions, and bulky actions. So for the bulk action, you can be able to delete data in bulk actions, which is working up to now. You can see you have this option to select bulk data. So for example, if you select all of them, here you have this option, so you can be able to delete all the data. So this is being created by using this action, which is called bulk actions. But the simple and single actions, you can see here we have only the edit action. So that's why here you can see we have only the edit actions. So to add the delete, you need to add here the delete action. So what I'll do, I'll just create the delete action. So I'll just import it here, actions, and then we can have delete action. Okay. Seems like this one is not working. No, I forget to add the tables right here. Okay, so now this is working. Okay, now if I refresh again, you can see we have the delete option right here. So let me create another dummy data and then we can try to delete it. Okay, so here we can create that one, but now you can see we have this another option which is for delete. So you can be able to delete on edit page, but if we go back here, you can also be able to delete. So let me click delete. You can see this will ask you if you are sure about what you are doing, and then if I say confirm, then you can see the data has been deleted, and you can see this beautiful notification up here is shown. So meaning that the CRUD operation is working fine, and also the pagination is working fine as well. So by saying so, now we can be able to create the patient form. Okay, so in order for you to simplify the work, also here in the owners, for example, you can have the option to view. So to add the option to view, so you can just copy this one and change here. You can just say view action, and then if you refresh again, you can see we have this option to view our data. So this data will be in read-only data, and then you can be able to just view the owner. Okay, so while we were making all of this manually, Filament PHP gives you the option to create those functionality automatically. The only requirement that you have is just to have the migration files in with the required fields. So what I'm going to show you next, it will override what we've done here, and it will create all of this data automatically based on what is on your database. So by doing so, let me just clear my terminal again, and then when you are creating the resource, for example, when you are creating the owner resource, you may have the option to pass the flags here. So the first flag that I'm going to pass is to have the view, so that we can have the option or the action for viewing the data. But the second, I can have the option called the generate. So when you are running the generate option, it will automatically generate the required forms, tables, and everything that you need in that resource. Okay, so now let me just run it, and then you can see, because this resource is already existing, it will ask you if you would like to overwrite it. So I'll just say yes, and also you can see the list owners.php already exists. I'll say yes, yes, and now you can see it has already override all of the fields. So now you can see it has created it automatically. See, we have the email, phone number created at and updated at, and it also add them as tuggable fields. Also, you can see we have the view action, we have the edit action, but the delete has been removed. So now if I refresh again here, you can see we have this search option that has been added for us. We have this option of toggling this created art and updated art. As you can see now, if I click that one, it will be shown here, but if I go back and uncheck, it will be removed from the view. So that has been added by using this option, which is called the toggable, and then you can say if is toggable hidden by default, and then it will set to true. So that is working for any of the field that you can add. So for example, if I copy this one and add it on the form, and then if I go back and refresh, now the phone will be removed from here, and then it will be here. So when you check it, it will come here, and when you uncheck, it will be gone. So that's how easy you can just manipulate with those toggable fields. Okay, but there is more that you can do with the table, and we'll be seeing each on the one by one on the next videos. So for now, I want to regenerate for all of these remaining resources. So let me just go back here, and what I'll do, I'll just regenerate for the patient. So we will overwrite everything, and then we are going to do the same for the treatment. Okay, treatment. Okay, overwrite everything, and then I'm going to clear my terminal. Oh, this should be clear. Okay, then let's go back here. So now let's go to the browser. Now if I refresh, if we go to patients, you can see we have this table, but when we navigate to new, you can see the form is right there. We have the date of birth, we have the name, we have the owner. So you can see we have the option to select the owners, and this field is actually the field that is created by relationship. So I'll just show you how to do it, and then we have the type. So but this type, I need to have the drop down here. So to have the drop down, what I'm going to do, so that is on patient, if you remember. So this is on patient, so we need to go to the patient resource, and you can see we have this fields that have been created automatically, and this you can see it's a select option, which is a selected type of field in our form, and it is an own ID, but we have this function which is called the relationship, and it is referencing to the relationship that we defined in our model. So remember, in our model, which is patient model, we have this relationship called the owner. Okay, so simply because we have this one, so Filament will automatically create this relationship, and from that relationship it will retrieve data by using this attribute. So this attribute is the name that is found on the this relationship. So if you go back here, you can see this is owner class. So in owner class, as we remember, this owner have the name, so the name field will be automatically populated in this drop down or the select field. So I think that one will be clear as we continue to do a lot of things. So you can change here. For example, right now here you just see the names, so I can change here from seeing the name. For example, I want to show only the emails. So by doing so, if you navigate again here and refresh, now if you go on the drop down, you can see the emails. So these emails are coming from the owners table and have been referenced to this form because of this relationship field. Okay, let me return it back to the name, but let's assume that you have a bunch of what I can say, the you have a big list of owners, so it will be a nightmare for a user to scroll and scroll to the infinity. So by saving this, Filament gives you an option to have the be able to search for those data. So you can just say searchable. Okay, by saying searchable, if you refresh again and visit here, you can see you can be able to search anything. So for example, I remember let me see if I can get anyone. So you can see we have this option by searching, but by default, if you don't search for anything, this field will have nothing. So let me refresh again and you can see, so it will have nothing. It will not show any data. So to solve that issue, another function that you can have is called the preload. So the preload, it will load the data at the first. So when you visit it again and refresh, now you can see you have the list of your owners, and also you can be able to search for it. So you can search for that one, and you can see that you can be able to select that owner. Okay, also the name you can add, but the type, as I said, I need to have this from text input to be the select, and simply because it is select now, it will be the drop down, but we don't have any option. So now to add the options, we can be able to use this function, which is called the options. Okay, so now you can see we have these options. So this will be the value that will be sent to the database, and this will be the display value that will be shown in your form. So now if I refresh again, you can see we have the CRUD with a capital letter. So that's why I was saying this is just for display, and this is the value that will be on your database. Okay, so now you can see we have the option to select the type of that patient. So now we can be able to create a patient. For example, the date of birth of our patient, let's say it is last year, this date. Okay, the name, let me just create a dummy data from there. Okay, and then let me create the owner, which is this one. Okay, so now if I create, you can see automatically that patient will be created automatically, and you can be able to edit anything, you can be able to delete, you can be able to view. Okay, so also Livewire, Filament PHP gives you another option, which is amazing to me. Here you can see, for example, you that patient is firstly treatment on that clinic. So meaning that you don't have the details of the owner, and you don't want your user to navigate from here to owners and create the owner, and then you go back here and you create the patient. So you can be able to add the patient on the fly from here. So you can be able to add to register the owner from here. So to do so, you can do that from here. Let me just show you from the documentation right here. So this is what I was explaining here. So I'll just go the getting started. I just want to show you how to add those. Like here. Yeah, so if right here, let's see. Yeah, so it is like this way. So here on the owner field, you can have this option which is called the create option form. So for example, you can be able to add like you are adding another form, or you are embedding another form on the field. So for example, if I copy this one, and this is why I say Filament is just magical to me. So let me just paste it here. Okay, so you can see we have the create option form. So this is another function that you should add on this own ID. So we have the name, email, and phone number for the owner. So now if I go back here and go back to my form and refresh, now you can see we have this plus icon which has been added. So you can see we may select any of the owner here, but if I click here, you can see I can be able to create the new owner automatically. So for example, let me create the new owner. So mark this name and then let me create. Okay, and then you can see here that owner that I've created has been selected automatically. So that is how simple Filament gives you these options. So it is amazing to me, and yeah, I can say it is amazing. So let's keep on doing it. So let me create that data, and then when I go back here, you can see I have these two patients. This one is the last one that I created, but if I go to owners, you can see this is the latest owner that I created. Okay, and I created it from where? From this form right here. Okay, so that's how easy you can do it. So let me just show another demo from that. Okay, so and then create. Yeah, so that is working fine. But also here on form, you have this option of creating and create another. So meaning that you can create that data and then the form will be automatically cleaned so that you can be able to create another data. So for example, if I leave it like this way and then you click this button, so you see it has created that data, but the form has been cleaned and it has not redirected me to the list of our patient, so I can be able to create another patient. So that's how easy you can just do these two things. Okay, so now if we go to the treatment here, you can see we have this description, and here you can pass any data that you want for your treatment. You can add the notes of the treatment, then you can be able to select the patient. So we can do the same thing that we did for the owner. So what I'm going to do, let me go back to treatment. Okay, here from the patient, what we need to do is we need to make sure it is searchable. Okay, we need to make it should be preloading all of our data, and then I'm going to add the create option form. Okay, and then from here you can see I can be able to add the patient, but in the patient, if you remember, we have the name, we have date of birth, and this should be date picker. Okay, so let me remove this label, but you can add it. Maybe you want to change the label because the labels will come automatically, so you can just change it to say date of birth. Okay, and then for the patient again, we have the let me check it again. Patient, we have another field is name and owner, and also we have the type. Okay, so let's go back here. We need to have the owner, so this should be an owner ID, and then we need to specify the relationship, and in order for the relationship to work out, you need to make sure this is the select field, so that you can be able to say relationship, and then you can specify the name of the relationship, which is an owner. Okay, and then you need to specify the attribute that you are using to retrieve those datas. And then you need to say again, this should be searchable and also should be reloading. Okay. Also, we need to have the type field, so we can say forms. Okay, and then we can have the type. Okay, so here we have the same types, so you can add in more types of the animals, let's say of the pets that you want, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just use these only 3 of them. Okay, so now if I go back here and visit the treatment and try to go to the new treatment. Okay, so yeah, I think here I've messed with something, so this should not be here because this is a date picker, so we don't need to validate it to be an email. And let me remove also this one and have a comma right there, and also this should not be a telephone. And I think now we are fine. And let me refresh again. Now you can see we have this form which is here, and we can be able to add the patient on a fly, but you can be able to search it from here. Okay, so for example, if I add those dummy data, okay, here I have the price, and you can be able to add the prefix icon and also the suffix icon on any of your field. So to add that, as you can see from here, you just need to add this function and give the name of your icon. So I've just passed this one, so it has been created automatically. So this is on dollar, but I can change it, let's say, to TZ shillings, which is Tanzanian shillings. So if I refresh again, you can see it is changing to Tanzanian shillings. Okay, so let me just add the dummy data from here and then select the patient, for example, this is the first one, and then create. So automatically the new treatment has been created, and if I go back here, you can see I have this beautiful data, and out of the box these fields will have the different functionality. For example, you can be able to sort them, you can be able to search. So all of these features are coming out of the box if you run the generate function. I mean the generate command. When you are creating the resource and you run the generate flag, when you give it the flag for generating, this is what I was talking about. So if you give this one, it will automatically determine if this field needs to be sortable and everything that you may think of. So if you go to the table now, if we remove all the searchable fields from here, for example, this is treatment. So if you see, we have this search option, but if I remove this searchable from here, if I remove searchable and have comma right there, and if I refresh again, you can see the search option has been gone. Okay, so this is only available when you have any of the field that you mark it as the searchable. So right now here, if I refresh again, I can only search for the description, but not for the patient, price, and anything else. So to add for other fields to be able to be searchable, you need to add them to the searchable. So you need to say this should be searchable, so that now you can be able to search for the patient too. So now if I refresh again and search for, let's say, anything that is not here, you can see it will say no any data found. Okay, so that's how easy you can do it. So also you can sort, for example, if you add another one, let me add another treatment for the second patient, and now if I go back to the treatments, now you can see I can be able to sort them. For example, now you can see if I go back here, you can see it is working fine. And if I try to search, if I search for Alexis, you can see it is fine this Alexis and it will work fine. Okay, yeah, so that's how easy you can create these resources. So for this tutorial, what I've done, I've just introduced you to the resources. So the next video is going to be about going deep about how you are going to manage these resources. For example, how you are going to add the filters, how you are going to add another custom actions, how you are going to perform different functionality from your application. So now, as you can see from our dashboard right here, in dashboard we don't have anything. So on the next video, I'm going to show you how to add the widgets from here. As we know, we have three kind of widgets. We have the statistical widgets, we have the chart widgets, and also we have the table widgets. So I'm going to show you how to add those step by step. So for the today's video, I think this is fine, and you can see the icons have been changed because we overwrite the model, I mean the resource classes. So you can just remember how we did it, so you can just redo it again. For example, if you go to the treatment, and here you can be able to change those icons. So if you go back here and refresh, the icon will change automatically. So remember, you can be able to switch the themes. So now you can see the icon has been changed. So you can be able to complete all of these other icons so that the sidebar will look a little bit nice.